Conducting an investigation.
Okay. Will you conduct right away, sir? At this point in time, I elect to not say anything. I elect to speak to say anything without having my attorney present. I would like for you to articulate what crime you suspect me of committing or what crime you suspect me of about to commit.
No, we just have a reasonable suspicion to figure out what's going on here.
Sheriff's Office, Deputy Peterson, this line is recorded. How may I help you? Let D3 know that the 13th Papa from the other night with the vest on, the guy that follows us around, he's back. Yeah, it's the same guy from the other night. They'll know who it is. Okay. Yeah, there's been all kind of bulletins on this dude. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Open Government Investigations. On June 5, 2015, private investigator and First Amendment activist, Michael Hoffman, was working a case in Jacksonville, Florida, that required him to conduct surveillance on an individual and follow her to several locations. After some time, the target called the police and accused Mr. Hoffman of stalking her. He was later pulled over while he was driving, by a deputy with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office.
Now we get to meet one another. How are you doing? What's going on with you following me? Are you an investigator of some sort?
Can I ask why you pulled me over, sir?
I pulled you over because the young ladies came over there and said you've been following her since she left the airport yesterday. So I want to know who you are.
Have I committed a crime?
No, but I'm conducting an investigation. Have you been following that young lady? I mean, if you're an investigator, investigate away. But if you're somebody harassing her or stalking her, that's against the law. Me pulling you over to find out who you are is me doing my job.
Am I free to go?
No, you are not. Not until I find out who you are. I'm conducting an investigation. Do you have your driver's license, registration, and proof of insurance on you?
Have you pulled me for a traffic violation, sir?
No, sir. I've already explained that to you. Now, you can play the back and forth rigmarole all you want to. I've explained to you why I pulled you over.
Okay, and you didn't have PC. I'm not suspected of committing a crime.
The probable cause is that you've been following this young lady, and she...
Do you know that, sir? Did you see that? Did you see that, deputy?
You came back by. Why'd you come back by?
I don't have to answer questions.
Okay, you don't have to answer questions. Okay? You do have to identify yourself, sir.
Sir, if you suspect me of committing a crime or about to commit a crime, I have to identify myself. You have no probable cause to pull me for a traffic violation. I asked you why you pulled me. Because
the young lady said that you've been following her since yesterday.
So you believe everything everyone says to you?
Mr. Hoffman verbally announces that he was not going to speak without legal counsel present, and invokes his Fifth Amendment privilege against self-incrimination during investigations. Simply remaining silent is not enough to claim the right to remain silent. Rather, individuals must affirmatively state that they are invoking their Fifth Amendment right to a law enforcement officer or investigator. In the 2013 case of Salinas versus Texas, the Supreme Court held that a suspect who stands mute has not done enough to put police on notice that he is relying on his Fifth Amendment privilege. The court additionally established that because the Fifth Amendment did not create an unqualified right to remain silent, a suspect's silence during questioning can be used against them as evidence of their guilt.
I'm conducting an investigation.
Okay. Will you conduct right away, sir? At this point in time, I elect to not say anything. I elect to speak to say anything without having my attorney present. That would be Eric Friday.
Call him. Call him. Tell him to come up here. We're at the 8100 block of Arlington Express.
Mr. Hoffman invoked his Fifth Amendment rights, and the officer told him to bring his legal counsel to the scene so that he could be questioned. However, officers cannot require citizens to produce legal counsel so that they can begin to question them during a Terry stop. The Supreme Court explained in the 1984 case of Borkheimer versus McCarty, that during a Terry stop, the officer may ask the detainee a moderate number of questions to determine his identity, and to try to obtain information confirming or dispelling the officer's suspicions, but the detainee is not obligated to respond, and unless the detainee's answers provide the officer with probable cause to arrest him, he must then be released. Police officers typically cannot compel a citizen to answer their questions or cooperate with their investigations under any circumstances, even if the individual has been arrested and charged with a crime. A judge may order an individual to answer a question during a court proceeding, but even then, they can claim their Fifth Amendment privilege if they believe the answer may incriminate them. Therefore, Mr. Hoffman was completely within his rights to refuse to answer questions, and as long as there was no probable cause to make an arrest, Mr. Hoffman should have been released after a brief detention.
I don't answer questions, Deputy.
You don't answer questions. You just stalk young ladies. Just stand by them. Stand by.
Your name and badge number, Deputy? Your name and badge number, Deputy?
buddy. What's going on here?
Name and badge number, sir?
Simpson 66190.
Masinsin, M-A-S-I-N-S-I-N. Sir, I'd like to know why I'm being detained.
No, someone's saying that you're claiming you're stalking them. Are you an investigator or anything?
Okay, let me make this clear, sir. I would like for you to articulate what crime you suspect me of committing or what crime you suspect me of about to commit.
No, we just have a reasonable suspicion to figure out what's going on here.
No, sir. So you don't get to detain me to figure out if I've committed a crime, sir. The law and the statute states, in order for you to detain me, you must have reasonable, articulable suspicion that either I have committed.
Yeah, we have probable cause.
What is your probable cause?
We got a complaint that we got that the red.
That's not probable cause, sir. What crime do you suspect me of committing?
Stalking.
Mr. Hoffman argued that the officers cannot detain him to figure out if he had committed a crime, and that they needed reasonable articulable facts of suspicion that he has committed, or is about to commit a crime. Although officers are required to have reasonable suspicion in order to conduct a Terry stop, they do not need reasonable suspicion of a specific crime in order to satisfy the Fourth Amendment. The primary purpose of a Terry stop is to investigate whether criminal activity is afoot. The 2002 case of United States v. Arvizu, the Supreme Court established that when discussing how reviewing courts should make reasonable suspicion determinations, they must look at the totality of the circumstances of each case, to see whether the detaining officer has a particularized and objective basis for suspecting any legal wrongdoing. The court also concluded that a determination that reasonable suspicion exists need not rule out the possibility of innocent conduct, and that a stop can still be reasonable within the meaning of the Fourth Amendment, if the detainee's conduct is susceptible to innocent explanation. During this interaction, the police stopped Mr. Hoffman based on the accusation of stalking, and the fact that his vehicle allegedly matched the description of the vehicle, and the fact that Mr. Hoffman was reported as following her. A court would likely decide that the officer's reasonable suspicion to detain and investigate Mr. Hoffman was lawful. In the 1990 case of Alabama v. White, the Supreme Court held that an accusation, whether from a known informant or an anonymous source, can be sufficient to justify a Terry stop, as long as the tip included a sufficient indication of reliability. The court also explained that when significant aspects of the caller's predictions were verified, there was reason to believe not only that the caller was honest, but also that he was also well informed enough to justify the stop. The standard for reasonable suspicion is so low, a court would likely uphold this stop based on the information provided by the complainant, as well as the corroborated description of the vehicle.
Your name and badge number, sir?
Sir, what's your name?
Your name and badge number, sir?
Are you going to remember?
But all you're being recorded. I've got 4 cameras in this truck.
No
You're required by policy to issue your name and badge number. I'm going to ask you what. I'm speaking to this gentleman right now. I'll get your name and badge number in a minute. Your name and badge number.
0051.
What's your name?
I just told you.
I didn't hear it because I'm sitting there speaking to this
recording
gentleman.
it so you can pick it up later.
Sir, I'm going to ask you once again. If you want to be a smart about it, I'll file an internal affairs case on you.
I gave it to you once already.
I didn't hear it. I'm asking you once again. So to extend some professional courtesy and treat me with the respect I deserve.
I did.
What is your name and badge number?
Well, here's
let me
the thing, sir. I gave you mine.
70051.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Deputy. Was that so hard?
No.
The law states.
Courtesy,
The
sir.
law states I don't have to give my name and information unless you suspect me of committing a crime.
I don't.
Then am I free to go? Because this
At
is
this
an
time.
illegal detainment.
At this time.
This is an illegal detainment.
Like I said, your criminal description we were given.
I respect
doesn't
that.
mean
I respect
you're guilty.
that. I respect that. You're
doesn't
talking
mean
to an
you're
ex-law
guilty.
enforcement officer here, buddy. Now, I understand you're doing no fault with that. You are doing your job.
Okay.
And the mere fact that I'm exercising my legal rights does not make me uncooperative. Okay? Now, the fact that someone called you and said they're harassing doesn't give you the general order just to stop people.
No, that wasn't the reason why. Because a person in a vehicle that matched your description was doing that. We didn't say you were doing it.
Okay.
And that's what we're coming down to.
But how do you define harassing? Someone just called says they were
I
harassing.
didn't-
Did you ask her what they did? Did you ask the
They're
person?
following.
You said a red truck, pickup truck was following her since she came in town.
Is that a crime?
The officers claimed that the subject of Mr. Hoffman's investigation reported that a vehicle matching the description of his truck was following her. Mr. Hoffman asks if that's a crime. According to Florida Statute 784.048, states that a person who willfully, maliciously, and repeatedly follows, harasses, or cyberstalks another person, commits the offense of stalking, a misdemeanor of the first degree. Standard jury instructions for the statute explains that willfully means knowingly, intentionally, and purposefully, and that maliciously means wrongfully, intentionally, and without legal justification, or excuse. To explain in a more simple manner, following someone can be a crime in Florida, but only if it is repeated, intentional, and there was no legitimate reason for doing so. Another Florida statute worth bringing up is 493.6101. As a private investigator, Mr. Hoffman is licensed by the state and authorized to conduct investigations to obtain information about topics such as the identity, habits, conduct, movements, whereabouts, affiliations, associations, transactions, reputation, or character of any person or group of persons, etc. When Mr. Hoffman was following the individual who reported him to the police, he claims to have been investigating her for a domestic case, which would certainly fall under his authority to investigate the person he was following. Although private investigators are not permitted to commit crimes, or otherwise, break the law while conducting investigations, in this case, a court would likely conclude that Mr. Hoffman was not maliciously following the subject, due to the fact that his surveillance served a legal and legitimate purpose.
We haven't determined that. We just want to make sure.
Do you see where I'm going with this, sir? I mean, I understand you guys are doing your job, but do you see how this goes? I'm aware of my rights. You do not have, or excuse me, you have the right to ask me whatever question you want.
You're really enjoying this.
I'm not enjoying anything. You know what I am enjoying? How you officers fail to realize that those badges and those guns don't give you the right to violate other people's rights. Sir, you are. I've articulated to you that you are illegally detaining me. And because you choose to abuse your authority and not recognize that what I'm saying is a fact, you are illegally violating my rights.
The question is to find out if you are the one or not the one that was violating this other woman's rights.
But I've made it clear, sir, I'm not going to answer questions. I've made it clear I'm not. You don't get to. Yes, sir. The fact that I'm exercising my rights does not mean I'm not cooperating, sir.
Yes, it does.
It does not. I'm not saying I am this person. I'm not saying I am not this person. But what you fail to realize is I do not have to speak to you, sir. And that does not give you the right to detain me until you get some information to charge me with a crime. You don't get to search and search until I say something or you twist something I say to use it against me.
Okay, sir, back to my original question
Yes,
when
sir.
I first got here.
Yes, sir.
Okay, are you following somebody?
I don't answer questions, sir.
Okay.
Am I free to go?
Yes, you're free to go.
Thank you.
Let us know what you thought about this interaction in the comment section. If you're viewing this on Facebook, make sure to follow, comment, and react to the video. If you're viewing this on YouTube, make sure to like or dislike the video, comment, and make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out on future videos. Thank you.